Oh, 1, 2, 3 in the place to be. It's your player partner from the bottom of the map. It's your dog Israel checking in. Wanted to do a quick video. I wanted to jump in, tap in with y'all about some of the news that's been going down, national championship and some other Canes news. But before we tap all the way in, as always, we appreciate you rocking with us. Everybody that's jumping in the comments has been following. We appreciate y'all. Stay tapped in, stay jumping in the comments, stay rocking with your boys. Make sure you go ahead and like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, to tell a friend. It's them boys again, spitting that realness. Um, but yeah, keep rocking with us, man. Like I say, we jump in the comments, read all the comments. We love engaging with everybody. Listen, if you got a counter argument, if you're a fan of another school, listen, talk your shit. We're gonna talk our shit about other schools. We're gonna talk shit about our school. We're fans of the U. We're fans of college football. So we follow other teams. We follow what's going on around the nation, different conferences. So we're gonna talk our shit. We give analysis and our views and opinions about all the college football, and not just college football, but in this realm of college football, we're gonna talk our shit. So talk your shit. Just keep it respectful, but talk your shit. We with that. If you got the smoke for us, bring the smoke. No, it's been a lot of Knowles fans and fans from other conferences. Talk your shit. That's what we here to do. You know what I'm saying? We all fans at the end of the day, but get in there, talk your shit. You want to tell the you why we suck. Shit, we saying why we suck. That's the thing. Like we're gonna get props when they're due, but when if it's quacking like a duck and it's walking like a duck, we're gonna call us a duck, even if it's our own team. So um, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep it real all the way 100, all the way around. We have a little bit of bias towards our team, but we like to keep the commentary true. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Last night, um, wrapped up the college football season. You've seen a great game between two teams that were undefeated, both 14-0, and Michigan came out on top. And I'll say this game is significant um, for the very fact that you've seen coaching in a chess match at its finest. Um, it's no secret that Mario wants to be Jim Harbaugh. It's no secret. He wants to be smash mouth, ball control, good defense, pound the ball. That's what he wants to be. He's an O line guy. So I kind of get it. Um, and I get the philosophy clash between him and Shannon Dawson. Shannon Dawson is air raid. Air raid is spread the ball. You're throwing it 70% of the time. That's not what Mario wants to be. So eventually they're really going to have to figure out what's the identity of the team, and I think that's why he had got Gaddis. Gaddis came from Michigan. That was Michigan style, but they hadn't won with that style. They were getting close, but they hadn't won. So what you seen last night was a culmination of years of putting a system in place and it coming to fruition and working. For those who believe in, the process, that was the process. You seen Harbaugh come into Michigan. One, he had to get the talent level up, so he got the talent level up. He had to get his system in because Jim Harbaugh, and this is a big difference between Jim Harbaugh and somebody like Mario. Jim Harbaugh ran a pro style offense at Stanford. He's had quarterbacks like Andrew Luck. Um, he went from I don't know if Andrew Luck was under him, but he ran a pro style offense. He had the tight ends, mostly two tight end, um, one back, two receiver set, one or two tight ends, and you've seen a lot of tight ends come out of Stanford. Went to the NFL. He had Alex Smith, ended up with Cap, had a run all the way to the Super Bowl. They say he was just too ornery. He was just too fickle for the NFL. Michigan came a calling. This is his alma mater. Of course, you go back to the big house. All right. But it took years. Jim Harbaugh had been catching flack for some years because they couldn't beat Ohio State. All right. They finally got the talent. They finally was able to beat Ohio State consistently and was getting to the college football playoffs and just getting waxed. It was getting smoked. They got there with Georgia. Georgia beat the brakes off of them. Last year, um, they got into a dogfight with TCU, and TCU ended up beating them. And they got back this year. So you're seeing years of a system, a coach working, continue to put things in place. Uh, the things that they were deficient at, they just got better. And you've seen what they did this year. And they basically did the exact same thing that they did all year to Washington. Now, my dog ain't here, but I'm going to have to give him props. If you watched the last video, you know that I said I think Washington is an explosive offense that Michigan hasn't seen before, and I think it's going to be difficult for Michigan to stop them because they hadn't played an explosive offense all year. Ohio State's usually the explosive offense that they play, but Ohio State wasn't explosive this year. They just didn't play against any teams that had any type of big play ability like Washington. So I thought it would be, I thought the game would be closer. Maybe Michigan will pull it out, but I thought it would be a little bit more high scoring. At least on Washington side, the score was 34-13. Um, what they did is what they do to everybody. They have the best offensive line. They have a great defensive line, and what they do is just ball control, ball dominance. You've seen in the first half, the first quarter especially, their offensive line was just dominating. They had like 140 yards rushing in the first quarter. They had two long touchdown runs in the first quarter. And then, you know, Washington wasn't laying down. Washington defense started stepping up. But what does Michigan do? Michigan doesn't allow you to score. And even if they don't score themselves, they just take so much time off the clock and they just wear you down, wear you down, wear you down. One thing I was kind of surprised about is that their corners held up. They were able to get in Penix's face all night, which um, I, I seen him play with pressure, but his receivers, he was overthrowing. I'm not gonna front. He overthrew and underthrew about 4 or 5 possible touchdowns. I mean, he had one in the first quarter, where they ended up kicking a field goal where he missed on like a crossing pattern in the end zone. Then he missed on the fourth down to a Dunze, which probably would have been a touchdown. He missed on a few. Literally like 4 possible touchdowns that he missed on. He had a couple receivers had a couple critical drops, and he just was credit to Michigan. Their game plan and their scheme was to get in his face, knock him around. They're blitzing off the corner, so he has to get the ball out quickly. And he did that. I ain't gonna front. Like I seen him. That's why I said I think he's gonna be the best next level quarterback because he was making all the hot reads. Cornerbacks coming off the corner, they're blitzing off the edges. He's getting the ball out quickly. But credit to Michigan, they're making all the open field tackles. Nobody was able to really get loose. Um, they couldn't. Those explosive plays, kind of same thing they did against Alabama. They took the explosive plays away. They was letting them get the underneath stuff, and they were just making solid tackles. But you did see in the second half, you got to give credit to Washington. Their defense started to stand up. uh, Michigan, second quarter, third quarter, they couldn't run the ball at all. But Michigan's okay with that because Michigan, as long as they know I get a field goal here, I get a touchdown there, get a touchdown here, a field goal there. As long as I got 17 or 20 points, come 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and my offensive line is just crushing you. You're worn out. And then next thing you know, 20 goes to 27, 27 goes to 34, and that's the game because your offensive line has just been dominating, and your defensive line, Washington's defensive line, is just tired. They're worn out, and it's not like they haven't been playing because they actually have been playing very well. Scores 20-13, but you get two late touchdowns because the offensive line is just dominating. They're just dominating. This is ball control. They don't turn the ball over. JJ McCarthy, you don't really put him in harm's way. He makes a few plays with his feet, and he makes the safe passes. And that's how you win with that system. That's how you win with that system. But you have an elite coach. And I had to give it to Washington. Like they made their adjustments because it looked like they was about to get, 500 yards right now. They made the adjustments. Their defense was like keeping them in the game when I thought it was going to be their offense that kept them in the game. Um, this is what I think Mario wants to be. I think seeing that last night, man, he's probably just smiling. And I think that's going to hurt for us. 'Cause I think he may see that and see how it wasn't a spread offense. It wasn't a running gun. It wasn't a um, air raid. It wasn't a just gunning offense that a defense, type of game. It wasn't that. It was old school. This almost, and I say this, Harbaugh is an NFL guy. This reminded me of an NFL game where you kind of your defenses are holding up and you get scores here and there. You don't turn the ball over, and this is how in the fourth quarter you start seeing offensive lines pushing defensive lines 7, 8, 9 yards down the field. Now you're starting to see those holes just open up. You start to see them running backs running through those arm tackles. It reminded me of an NFL game, and I think that's what we've seen. It's what Mario wants to be. Take notes, Mario. Maybe you could make that happen. Maybe not. I don't think so. I think he got to figure out, or maybe he should have been taking notes, seeing how this happened. Coaches talk to each other. He's not in the Big Ten. He's not really a rival. You know what I'm saying? So like, he could he could look at Harbaugh and figure out how he did it and work from that angle. Um, I'm just happy that the playoffs weren't blowouts. They were all good games. You seen everybody matching up. You seen everybody playing to their strengths, and you seen damn good games. And I was happy about that. Of course, Florida State is the only team that really got smoked. They got a mud hole stomped in them. Any of the other bowl games that were of significance. There's a couple other games where there's some blowouts, but basically all the other games were really good. So I was kind of happy with this bowl season. Um, Now let's talk about a little Kane action. Miami finally got their quarterback. They've been tooting it up for every quarterback that you could think of. Tua little brother became available. They were tooting it up for him. KJ Jefferson, they was tooting it up for him. Um, every quarterback that became available, they tooted it up for, and they finally got, which I said they should. This is who they should get. I said they should get a smaller school quarterback, transferring from another school that has some experience, and they got an FCS quarterback. Let me make sure I get his name right. Reese Puffenbarger. Reese Puffenbarger. Try saying that. That's going to be our quarterback next year. Um, FCS quarterback, from Albany. He led FCS in passing last year. He had 3,500 yards. Was third team All American. Third team. Not first team, not second team. Third team All American. He had 5 games in 2 years. He's had 5 games against FCS schools. Put up pedestrian numbers: 45 of 93, Only threw 3 touchdowns, completion rate of like 45%. All right. This is why I think this is a great move for Miami and a bad look for Miami at the same time. Great look for Miami, great move for Miami, and a bad look at the same time. Let's get into why this is a great look. This is a great move for Miami and Miami fans. You get a quarterback, 6 foot, 205 pounds, didn't get recruited at all. He was All American. He's from Maryland. All American. Didn't get any recruits. He ended up walking on at Old Dominion. Went from Old Dominion to Albany. They made the playoffs this year. Ended up losing to, I think, Montana. This is good because now you have a quarterback that has some experience that's coming to a big program in his, from his estimation, a big program where eyes can be on him. He can make a name for himself at Miami. He can make a name for himself. He could do better um, as far as his career goes at Miami. He wasn't even, somebody that Miami looked at as far as recruiting. He's not a Miami recruit. He's not somebody that was previously on Miami's radar. But now you got somebody who come in and make a name for themselves. So he might have a chip on his shoulder. And having a chip on his shoulder, he might come in and just be like, hey, I really want to, you know, make a name for myself. He comes in and he plays damn well. He's experienced, and maybe they went after him, or him playing in some type of similar system is why they went after him. I don't know. All right. But I do think it's a good move because now you don't have the super high expectations. You get a Cam Ward, you get a Will Rogers, a Will Howard, even DJ Uyunglele, Tua's little brother, um, even KJ Jefferson, and some of the other quarterbacks. Um, you don't have the high expectations anymore. Those other quarterbacks come in, the expectations would be, oh, we're going to the ACC championship. We're going to win the ACC championship, and we're going to the college football playoffs. That's our expectation. We have that expectation. We end up going 7-5, ending up 7-6 like we did this year. It's going to be a disaster. It's already a disaster, but it would be even worse. You get a quarterback like this. Let's say he wins. He wins out. He wins the starting spot. Plays decent. He don't play great. He plays decent. He played. We none of us know about him. I mean, it's just what it is. We just don't know about him. Let's say he plays good. We end up, let's say, 8-4. That looks like progress. You get a Cam Ward and you go 8-4. That's not progress, right? It's not progress. You get a smaller school quarterback. He comes in and he might mess around and play well. He's trying to make a name for himself, and it gives your other two quarterbacks time to kind of sit and watch. But what you do is you bring them in. You have packages. You give them playing time. They better gain reps. All right. You see how injury happens, portals happen, and it might increase competition. Right. You bring in the big name guy, and they automatically assume he has the spot. Right. You have to give him the spot. You don't give him the bag. He's coming in to start. Right. The Cam Ward is coming in to start. He's not coming in to compete for a starting position. He's coming in to start at the position. You get Reese Puffenbarger, um, and it's a quarterback competition. Nobody has the starting spot, so it may raise the level of everybody's play. Right. I like Emory. I like Ja'Cory. They got Judd Anderson that's coming in from I think Warner Robins, Georgia, and you got the transfer portal QB. Everybody has to. No, nobody has a starting spot. You all got to fight for it. All right, that's good. Fans' expectations are tapered to reality, which is we're probably a 7-5, 8-14. I say 8-4 is our ceiling. We could see 6-6 next year. I think that's what's more realistic for us. But with this quarterback, all right, let's see how everything else. He got everybody else. He got the recruiting class. He got all the other transfers, right? The other portal guys, defense, offense. We got everything else. So this is a good look on that front. I think it's a great look. I think it's a great move. This is the flip side, right? This is the other side of the coin when it comes to that. You have a big time prominent university like the U that has all the history, all the nostalgia, five national championships should have been six, or four national championships should have been five, which I can't remember. Ohio State robbed us. We could have had another one against where FSU played Oklahoma in the national championship in 2000, where we should have played Oklahoma in the national championship in 2000, and we would have mopped the floor with them. But that's long gone. But you have a big prominent school like the U, big time university, and they was throwing themselves at every quarterback, and nobody wanted to come. Tune it up, face down, ass up for all the transfer portal quarterbacks, all of them, every one of them. Max Johnson, Riley Leonard, Will Howard. I already talked about DJ Cam, KJ Jefferson, Will Rogers. You even had some people step on campus, took meetings and did tours and was recruited, was wined and dined, and still ain't want you. Still ain't want you. Everything that you can offer them, the bag, the U on the side of the helmet, history, and they ain't want you. So what you had to do was go get whatever you could. And the best you could get was an FCS quarterback. All American, but third team All American, not first team All American. Not somebody who was just like destroying all the passing records in the FCS. He's a good player in the FCS. That's the best you can do after tuning it up for everybody else. I'm talking about you put on your lipstick, your makeup, you put on your best wig, your best heels, and you put on your fuck 'em dress. And wasn't nobody trying to fuck with you. Damn. Like, how far has the U fallen? How far? To where they couldn't get even a lower level, a kind of a secretary. I look at KJ Jefferson as like, he's an all right quarterback. He ain't great. Look at Will Howard, like, I don't really know too much about him. He ain't really, well, like he was wowing anybody at Kansas State. Um, Riley Leonard, good. You gotta look at what's been going on. You gotta wait. You gotta look at what's been going on, and it ain't how do we get in this position? How do we get here? And what's happened to where like we can't we can't even like get a second tier, a second rate quarterback? That's the best we can get, an FCS quarterback. Um, yeah, it's not looking good. That recruiting pitch ain't looking good no more. It's looking good everywhere else, but you couldn't even get a lower level. I mean, damn, nobody. Not even the FBS. Like it's what 135 schools in the FBS or something like that. You can't get anybody. The best you could do is a FCS Albany. Not even like the big, like North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana. One of the schools that they're winning every year. But Albany, listen, man, you got a lot to do as far as reputation and building their brand back up. They got a whole lot to do. Um, Winning cures all of that. Like I said, you had the stud quarterback. Sorry, y'all ain't gonna rock with me. You're still not gonna rock with me. But he gonna prove himself at Wisconsin. TVD was the stud quarterback. He came in game 4 after Derek King got hurt and showed out for the rest of the year. So much that in after coming in game 4, he won ACC Rookie of the Year. All right, he showed out. He showed he could make all the throws. He could do it. Big time games. We had the big time quarterback. Trust me, like you're gonna see it at Wisconsin. You will see it there. Um, and now at this is the point we're at. You had the big fish, and this is what you got. Now I do feel like we got potential. Ja'Cory's potential, Emery's potential. Um, and this new guy, he may come in and he has potential. He's walked on before. He's a smaller quarterback. He's only 6 foot, 200 pounds. So you're going up in talent and skill. But let's see what he can do. I ain't gonna write him off yet, but you know I do think we have to identify what's our style of play going to be. Is he going to try to be Jim Harbaugh, or we're going to try to really activate the air raid, which I think we should do. And we're not at that point yet. So you know, y'all, I don't know where we're gonna go from here. I mean, the program has a lot to go through, as far as building its brand back up, building itself back up, and getting back to a place of prominence and respectability. Um, so y'all let me know in the comments. Jump in the comments. Let me know how y'all feel about the quarterback and our quarterback situation.